Hi everyone and welcome to this video on how to use Notability. If you're new here, hi, my name is Apurva and I'm a 4th year medical student at Georgia University. So I've been using Notability since about February 2019, which is when I first got my iPad. So I use the iPad Pro 11-inch, the 2018 model, and I absolutely love it. So I got this in like the second half of my second year, and now I'm in the second half of my 4th year, pretty much almost done. So I've been using this for about 2 years now. So most of my classes are not using PowerPoints, so what I usually do is import the PowerPoint into my Notability app and then just take notes and make annotations during the class itself on the PPT. So that has made studying very convenient and very portable. And more about that in a different video. I will definitely be doing a full video on how I use an iPad and how digital note-taking has made studying medicine, studying just in uni very convenient. But this video is completely about Notability and why I love it so much. And this is not even a sponsored video, guys. Like, I don't get paid for this, and I just genuinely love this app so much. And I just want to make it very accessible to everyone else, because digital note-taking can be a bit hard in the beginning. So this video will be covering a full walkthrough of all the features of Notability. I will also be talking about some tips and tricks, some shortcuts that you might not already know, and and I'm also going to be talking about why Notability is my go-to note-taking app. So there are many note-taking apps out there, and I myself use more than just Notability. But out of everyone, like, this has literally been my primary note-taking app. Like, it's the one I go back to all the time and the one I've been using the most and the longest. So I'm just going to be touching upon why that is so. So I'm actually really making this video for my dad, who recently got an iPad but hasn't been able to move to digital note-taking yet. And I completely relate to that, because when I first got my iPad, it took me about 6 months to fully embrace the digital life. And that was mostly because it was just hard to get used to writing on an iPad and letting go of paper. And even now I practice a very hybrid lifestyle where I use paper whenever I need to, and that's totally fine. But yeah, so this video is going to be going from one step to the other. It's going to be really basic, basically. I'm just going to start from the very simple features and then slowly move up. And I'm going to be linking everything down in the timestamps below, so click through them if you need to skip around. And without much further ado, let's get into it. Alright everyone, so let's get started. So when you open Notability, this is what the app looks like, and what we want to do is make a new note. That's the very first step, right? So to make a new note, you have to click on this icon over here, and there you have a new note. So the things you can do within Notability is change the template, design, and you can even change the template color. So to change the template, design, or color, you click on these 3 dots over here. Then you can click on paper, and then you can choose whether you want ruled sheets or dotted sheets or like a plain sheet. You can even import other templates from outside and just duplicate them. But these are the default designs or default options that Notability comes with. So I usually use just squared paper, and you can even change the color of your paper. So you could have, say, pink, you could have brown texturized paper, or you could have black. I actually really like using black because the colors really pop on it, but more on that later. So here we have our new note, right? So this is seamless scrolling, right? As you can see that these 2 pages are only divided by this long line, and it's vertical. So some of you might not like that and you would rather have horizontal scrolling. So to switch to that, we have to click on those 3 dots over here again. Then you click on view, and then you can make it single page. So when you make it single page, this is what it looks like, and the scrolling is horizontal. Alright, so first I'm just going to explain all the tools that we have and all the features within this one note screen that we can see. So the first feature I'm going to talk about is the text feature, which is basically draw text boxes, and you can just insert text. So for example, I want to write this, and then you can increase its size, you can change the font, you can even have favorite fonts over here. And within the text feature, you can also have bullet points, numbered lists, checklists, etc. So it's just basically a normal text tool. The next feature is the pen, which is probably something you'll be using the most. So when you click on pen, you can see there are a couple of colors to choose from. So the first 2 set of colors are the default colors that Notability comes with, and the next 2 are your favorites, which are basically colors you make on your own. So you can just click over here, plus, and then you can just make your own color, and that's your new color. but there's a limitation of only 2 sheets. I don't think you can go beyond 2 sheets. Anyways, the next thing we have over here is the thickness of the pen. So there's a range of thicknesses you can choose from. I usually use the standard 3rd one on the first row. You can go for thicker if you like, anything works. And the next thing over here you see are these things. So this is the thickness of your line basically. So the first option is an even thickness, right? The second option is that the thickness changes based on the pressure you apply. The next 2 options are similar but just in dotted features, which I think is a very cool feature for engineering students because you guys have a lot of diagrams to make and stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's just an example, but it's a pretty cool feature. And so since we're still in the text tool, let me show you guys how to draw straight lines, squares, and shapes. So to make any of that on Notability, all you have to do, so if you want to draw a straight line, for example, you have to draw it like this and you have to hold it. So you draw and then you hold it for it to become straight. If you just draw it and leave it, it's not going to become straight. So if you want to draw a straight line, you have to draw it and then just hold. So for example, I want to draw a circle, just hold. A square, just hold, right? So draw whatever shape you need to and then just hold for a bit for it to become an actual shape. So we're still in the pen tool. Let me show you guys the favorites toolbar. So the favorites toolbar is a pretty new feature. It only came in about like a few months ago, and honestly it's my favorite feature of Notability right now because I use a lot of different pens and a lot of different highlighters, and switching between them is a bit difficult. So for example, I'm taking notes and I want to write in orange, and then I also want to write in purple, so then I have to go back to the tool and then change it again and again. But the favorites toolbar has solved that issue. So you can have favorites toolbar, like it comes over here. So you just click on this and this is your favorites toolbar that you can move and attach anywhere on the sides of your document, right? So this is what mine looks like. So I have 3 highlighters, 2 pens, 1 eraser. You can keep adding more if you need. But yeah, so basically this feature also allows you to switch between 2 of the same tools. So this is the Apple Pencil 2, right? So it has the double tap feature where it allows you to switch between 2 of your last used tools on a document or like on an app. So earlier it was like if I use a pen and then I use a highlighter, I could only switch between a pen and a highlighter. But if I use like a purple pen and then I use like an orange, it wouldn't switch. So only within Notability you can now switch between 2 different colors of the same tool. So for example, I use red to write something and then I use black to write something, right? And now I want to go back to red. All I have to do is double tap and then it goes back to red. And it's the same tool, which is the pen tool. So this is a new feature and this is not seen in other apps as far as I know. And I think it's very, very useful if you're someone who takes notes regularly with a lot of different colors, and it's a very cool feature. So this is the favorites toolbar. So I've explained everything there is within the pen section. So now moving on to the highlighter, very similar to the pen. Again, you have to press and hold to make it a straight line, and with practice you get pretty good at making straight lines, honestly. And yeah, it has the same dotted feature that the lines tool had, and that's it. Now moving on to the eraser, you can choose different sizes of the eraser, and now you can choose to erase a whole stroke or a partial stroke. So when you use a whole stroke, what it's going to do is erase the whole thing with just one tap. But if you use the partial option, it only erases a bit of it. So you can choose based on whatever your needs are and how you work. The next tool is the selection tool, which basically allows you to select something and to move it around, and you can convert it to text. And I mean, my handwriting sucks, so it can't figure out what I've written, but yeah, let me write something neatly on this. Then you can convert to text, and it can convert to text if you like, and it can move things around for you if you like. Just move things around, and you can duplicate them, and you can what else can you do? You can style it, you can change the color of it if you like to. It's a very powerful tool. I feel like it's not I don't use it enough, honestly, and you can save it as a sticker. And yeah, so these are all the cool things that you can do with your selection tool. You can have it in a circle format or even a square format like this, or you can have freehand, which is like this, right? Alright, so now moving on to the next tool, which I call the nudge tool. I don't know what to call it, but basically what it does is it allows you to use the pencil on your note without making any strokes or erasing anything. So basically your pencil behaves like your finger. So you could just use your finger, but some people like to scroll with their pencil itself, and you can just use this tool to, you know, let it know that you're only reading right now and that you don't want to take any notes. The next feature is the laser feature, I think, which is pretty cool if you know you use Notability to teach or to make presentations. And yeah, so like for example, maybe let's go to a note. Okay, fine. So if you know, you click on this and then you're like teaching people something, you can choose to hold laser tail or you can choose not to. It depends, whatever you like. But yeah, that's about it. Next tool is 100% unique to Notability. I have not seen this tool in any other app. But yeah, so basically this is the recording tool. So what I'm basically doing is I am talking right now and I am, you know, writing hello, how are you? So just imagine using this tool in a class. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it. So what I'm basically doing is I'm talking right now and I am, you know, writing hello, how are you? So just imagine using this tool in a class. So basically, as you could see, what it was doing is it was allowing you to see the text with the audio as you were writing it. So this is so cool for classes where your professors talk really fast and you know you're like lagging behind notes and you're like, oh my god, I need to finish writing, but you can't catch up. So you just press record and then keep writing, and you know what you wrote when the professor was talking about something. Super cool, super useful for students, even for meetings, I guess. And yeah, definitely a standout feature within Notability. You can even like fix the audio and you can edit it and a lot of cool things. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with this feature. I don't really use it enough, but definitely a standout feature on Notability. So the next thing we have on the side is the plus icon. So what this allows you to do is to add different kind of media and different kind of, you know, stickers, GIFs. You can even scan a document using this. You can add web clips from Safari. It's really cool. So for example, oh my god. So for example, I just want to add this, and then you know, it's super cool. And then you can just, you know, take notes over your photo or whatever it is. I'm gonna add some stickers that they have added to their shop recently, so you can just choose sticker and then add it, and yeah, that's cool stuff. Next we have, so this is basically all the media that you can add. The 3 dots I've already explained, and this is the feature that allows you to see all your, you know, pages within the document to scroll through it faster. And you can even favorite a couple of pages and then you can see them as your bookmark pages. So another cool feature that you can get from clicking on this, you know, side tool, I don't know what to call it, is basically you can see all the pages which have notes on them. So when you click on this shows you all pages, but when you click on this, it only shows you notes. So only shows you slides that have notes on them, and that's pretty cool because, you know, they have some annotation or they have some highlighting, and you can have bookmarks and you can just search anything, so like you know, within it. So this is really cool. So the next tool is the zoom in tool. So if you're someone who really likes to, you know, write super neatly, yeah, you know, likes to write in very small handwriting, you can actually use this to write. I personally don't use this at all. I don't really find this useful. I mean, if I want to write something small, I can just zoom in like this, and then I can write it really, really tiny, and then always zoom out. But that's cool. Some people might find good use out of it. So this is the zoom in tool. And then next we have the undo tool. So as you can see, there's no redo button over here. When you write something, you can press over here to undo, and if you want to redo, you have to press and hold, and then you can redo. But again, I don't really use this feature at all because there's a shortcut. So let me show you guys. For example, I write, you know, hello over here and I want to get rid of it. So instead of pressing the undo button or even using the eraser, what I like to do is take 3 fingers and swipe left. And when you swipe left, it undoes, and when you swipe right, it redoes. So it is so convenient, you know, as you're taking notes and you're like in a rush in a class and you're like, oh, I messed up, I need to go back, then just swipe left and then continue, you know, writing. And then it's pretty cool. So I find myself using these 3-finger shortcuts a lot. So definitely make use of it. It's a bit difficult to get used to in the beginning, and you know, difficult to build it into like a habit, but as you write more, you get used to it. So it's super cool. Next, the tool is to export. So you can see over here, so you can share your note file. You can share it as a public link, or I've never tried that, but you can use all of these other options too. I usually have to airdrop it to my laptop, so what I do is I click on other apps and then I check the format. So the format by default is usually PDF, but you can switch it to Note if you're sending it to someone who also uses Notability or whatever, or as an image, or whatever your needs are. And then I just see what the page range is. So when you click on page range, currently it's selected as all, but I can choose to only send few pages. So next is paper. So when paper is on, what it basically means is that the template is going to be sent. So this document will come with square pages. So this is what it'll look like, as you can see when I see PDF preview. But when I turn off paper, it's going to become a plain sheet. So that's the difference between having paper on or off. So paper on and paper off. Then you can choose to send your recordings. You can have a password if you like. You can set a password for it. Page margins. So page margin makes it page margin gives it a page margin basically. And then you can just click on share note. Then you can send it to, you know, you can airdrop it, you can print it, you can save it to files, you can open it in some other app, you can email it to yourself. There's a lot you can do. So basically this is all of the things that are within your note screen. Now moving out of that, we have the subjects and the subject dividers and, you know, viewing your notes. So with the new update, you can actually view notes in a list format or in a thumbnail format. Both are pretty cool. I think the thumbnail format was overdue, and you know, it really helps you see your files more clearly, though I'm kind of used to the list format now. The search tool allows you to search for files within like whatever divider you're in. If you want to search within all notes, you can go in all notes and then you can just search for whatever you need. And yeah, basically this is the import tool, which allows you to import files from your Apple files or from your Dropbox or whatever it is. You can even directly scan a document from here. Alright, so first let's make a new divider. Let's call it maybe tester. So what I like to do is, if I'm going to be adding notes to a brand new divider, I try to move it a bit higher, because if it's the last divider, I don't know why, but it always gets a bit glitchy. So I've just moved it here, and then I'm going to make a new subject, and the subject went up. I'm going to call it hello. Open up tester. Tester has 0 notes and 0 subjects in it. Just drag it and there you go. So one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I make colorful subjects within Notability? So the first thing you do is click on settings and then you go to themes, and then within themes over here you can see match iOS appearance, which basically means if you use dark mode, it'll show dark mode. And over here you can see colorful subjects. You can click on colorful subjects and there you go. You can change your theme to maybe a light theme with colorful subjects, a dark theme, dark blue, jet black. I usually use dark blue, though light also looks pretty cool. But yeah, so this is how you make colorful subjects within Notability, right? So the colorful subjects that I talked about, like how do you make these colorful subjects to whatever color they are? So what you do is you click on edit, and then you click on the settings right next to it, and then you can choose within one of these subjects. You can change the title of it, you can choose to delete it, you can even delete a subject by just swiping left like this, right? The other features within the settings is the about part, where it shows what version you're using. Auto backup, I think auto backup is super important because iCloud doesn't back up your files, it only syncs them. So basically it is synchronizing your files between your Notability on your iPad and the Notability on your laptop. And yeah, it's honestly a bit scary to lose all your notes like that. So what I do is I back them up to my OneDrive. You have your files here, your accounts here, then the themes that I already showed you, the document settings which are by default. So for me it's set as seamless scrolling and squared paper and plain sheets, whatever, and the default note title as note. But if you are someone who has a lot of meetings, you can set it as meeting. If you have used the the title lecture a lot, you can make it lecture. You can have date, you can have time, it really depends. So there's a lot you can customize within this. Then you have typing, which is basically how you can set up handwriting recognition. Oh yeah, so I forgot to talk about handwriting recognition. So within Notability you can actually search via handwriting too, so that's really cool. Let's go to somewhere we have a lot of notes. So there's a lot of handwritten notes within this file. There's 31 sheets of handwritten notes. So let's just type the word drug, and now you can see it is showing up drug over here, but it's also showing up drugs over here, and it's able to recognize my crazy handwriting. Like, look at that, does that even look like drugs for you? And drugs over here. So basically all the yellow highlighted parts other than my highlighter pop up when you search. So basically what I'm trying to show you guys is that Notability has pretty decent handwriting recognition. Next we have you can set up a password. You can have an iOS sleep timer, which basically means that your iPad will stay awake when you're using Notability, so it won't lock on its own. You can have text to speech. Another feature we have is the store. So the Notability shop has a couple of themes, some planners, some stickers that you can use. The deleted files basically show you all your recently deleted files, and they get deleted within 30 days if you don't recover them. And another thing I can show you guys is how to split screen within Notability. So for example, I want to split my screen between two documents, for example the bacteria notes and the viruses notes, right? So I just open bacteria, right? I have my bacteria notes right here, and then I open viruses. This is like how I like to do it. I'll show you another way too. So now what I have done is I've opened bacteria, and immediately after I open viruses, and then what you do is you swipe in from left, and then you can see your recent notes over here, right? And I want to open bacteria and viruses side by side. So I press and hold bacteria, and then just drop it here. And there you are. So now you have two notes open side by side. So whatever note is selected with blue is the one on which you are writing, and even when you're writing on a note that's selected, you can still scroll on this. And yeah, basically that's it. So another way of opening like a note rather than opening them back to back, that's something I like to do. But what you can also do is you just swipe in from left, and you press search, and then you type out whatever you want to open. So for example, I want to open fungi, and then I click, and then it shows me all the notes with the title fungi in it. And yeah, and there you are. So now I have fungi and viruses open. So split screen feature, super cool. I use it all the time. It's amazing. And but it's also in other apps, but definitely cool feature. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Alright, so now we're at the end of this video, and I'm just going to be talking about why Notability is my go-to note-taking app. So like I mentioned before, this video is not sponsored by them. I just genuinely love this app so much. So I'm just going to be listing down a couple of reasons why I really like it so much. And one of the main reasons is the clean and clear layout. I really like having all the subjects on the left and the notes on the right. And more than anything, I like being able to color code those subjects, because not a lot of apps offer that. So it helps me organize my stuff and stay on track. I also like the toggle feature of the subject dividers. That is really convenient for me, at least, and it really helps me organize my subjects and my notes. Another thing I really like is the continuous vertical scroll, but that's pretty much prevalent everywhere, so it's not really a standout feature. I would say the recording feature, but I personally don't use it so much. But if you're someone who could make great use out of it, then this is a very solid app for you. And with the new Mac app, being upgraded and updated, the Mac app earlier was really not so reliable and was pretty slow, and I didn't really use it much. But the new update has made it much more accessible, and the layout is just like the one that it is on the iPad, and the sync is really fast. So usually I download my PowerPoints and my files on my laptop, and sometimes I used to airdrop it, but now what I just do is just drop it to the Mac app's Notability itself, and then within like a minute it is already synchronized, and it just pops up on my iPad. So that has definitely been a nice update. And I think my number one feature of Notability is now the favorites toolbar. So the favorites toolbar, it has been a recent update, I think only a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, I can't really remember, but it wasn't there all this while. But honestly, it is amazing. I love having more than one highlighter color on the side. I love having more than one pencil on the side, and the best part is with Apple Pencil too. So when you double tap now, when you can switch between the same tool. So on all the other note-taking apps that I've used, if you double tap, you can only switch like between a pencil and a highlighter, or a pencil and a selection tool. But with this new favorites toolbar, you can switch between two different highlighters, and that is really convenient for someone who's a highlighter freak like me. Even on like a note-taking app, and I use like 4 different colors of highlighters to just sort through my notes. I definitely love having the double tap feature, letting me switch between 2 of the same tools. Like I can switch between a yellow highlighter and a red highlighter. That is definitely one of my favorite things. And alright, so just to conclude, so out of all the note-taking apps I've used, and even back in 2019, I felt like Notability has the most fluid writing that I've used, and that is maybe just my personal experience, but I've always thought that it felt the most like writing on paper, and the most like real and fluid, and there was no like lag, and there wasn't any like it didn't feel very digital as such. But yeah, that is one of the main reasons why I prefer Notability over the other note-taking apps out there. But yeah, so I hope this video and I hope this tutorial and tips and tricks and all this compilation was useful for you. I hope you learned something, and I hope it made you consider taking digital notes, or even using Notability. And I hope it solved your questions about this app. So if you have any more questions, feel free to comment them down below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.